taking time off only for personal tragedies. The president's mother died of breast cancer. Vince Foster, a close friend of Hillary's from the Rose Law Firm and deputy White House counsel, committed suicide. And the most personal loss, Hillary's father, the man whose tough love had taught Hillary to withstand criticism. But for her family, the constant public criticism was difficult.
When my father passed away, I got to spend some very special time with my sister. And for that week, my mother and I had her back. It's very hard sometimes because you see somebody you've known all your life, and you see them in person, you see them on television. It's very difficult because you know who they are, and you just feel like screaming at the top of your lungs, this is a good person.
Hillary endured, her friends said, by leaning on lessons from her upbringing in Park Ridge and from both her parents.
They gave her wings, but they also gave her a great deal of grounding in things that were important. Her church, her feelings, her readings.
Her parents' influence was clear when she finally spoke out on Whitewater.
And I think if my father and mother said anything to me more than 1,000,000 times, it was, don't listen to what other people say. Don't be guided by other people's opinions. You know, you have to live with yourself. And I think that's good advice. I mean, I'm glad I got it as a girl growing up, and I've passed it on to my daughter. But I do think that that advice and my belief in it, combined with my sense of privacy, because I do feel like I've always been a fairly private person leading a public life, led me to perhaps be less understanding than I needed to of both the press and the public's interest as well as right to know things about my husband and me.
Well, I've spoke to a lot of young women, particularly, I don't know, lately around 13, 14, 15-year-old girls who have said that she's their hero and that they look at her and they feel like she's a good mom, you know, she's a good friend to her husband, and she's an amazing friend to this country in terms of the work she's trying to do. And I think she's a wonderful role model for people.
The people who like Hillary Rodham Clinton find in her not just a role model, but the kind of the chalice in which they poured all of their hopes that now women have real power. Hooray. Her foes put in the chalice everything they dislike about the 60s, about the women's movement, about stepping out of traditional roles, denigrating traditional roles.
In the most complimentary way, Hillary has not changed at all. She's exactly as forthright. She's exactly as honest. She is just as brilliant and just as interesting a person now as she was when she was a little kid.
A Goldwater girl from conservative Park Ridge turned feminist, a loyal wife and a shrewd political partner, a protective mother and a successful lawyer. Hillary Rodham Clinton was all of these. In her conspicuous position as First Lady, she embodied the turmoil evoked as women emerged from traditional roles at the end of this century and changed the rules for the next.
She followed through on the promise of that student revolution. And the promise was to change the world and make it better. Hence her anti-establishment speech at her commencement. And it was about a new future and about a new world. And she still talks that way.
Hold on to your dreams, whatever they are. Take up the challenge of forging an identity that transcends yourself. Transcend yourself and you will find yourself. Care about something that you needn't bother with at all? Throw yourself into the world and make your voice count.
When the Clintons first arrived at the White House, there was a problem. The staff didn't know what to call the president's wife. Should they refer to her as Mrs. Clinton? No, too sexist. Ms. Clinton, too 70s. Mrs. Rodham Clinton, too long. The solution was simple, informal, and indicative of the changes this exceptional woman has made to the role of First Lady. They call her Hillary.